And when we evaluate, evaluation is not doing an exam to see after 1 year, you can do a better schedule, you can do better estimation, you can do better quality. No, it's about the impact of all this training we're doing on the bottom line of the business itself. We assess leadership, knowledge, accountability, and things about the performance of the organization. Now, to wrap things up, you know this famous, the chief executive officer asked the financial officer asked the CEO, what happens if we teach people and they leave us? And he says, what happens if we teach them, we don't teach them, and they stay? So these are two different perspectives. Yet, every time I speak to people, they say, but when we teach them and they get certified, they will get a better offer and they will leave us. And this actually happens all the time. But there is a better solution than this one. And this solution, I bury it from Richard Branson. What does he do? Okay, I don't know if he has this picture before, or Leonardo DiCaprio has this movie, you know it? Catch Me If You Can, with the similar to this, okay? Different airline. He says train people well enough to stay, so that they can leave, treat them well enough so they don't leave. So his formula is to teach them, not just teach them so that they become qualified, they are appealing, everybody else wants to give them a better salary and for them to leave you. But he will treat them so well, they will not want to leave. It's their decision to stay. And if we find this ideal company, we stick to it. We never leave, okay? It's not all about the money. It's about the money and being really treated well and feeling good inside. So this is a formula or a solution to that. Now the last thing, in terms of capacity building, we talked about training, courses, etc. The last thing I would like to say is, because I allow myself to do it, because we are partners with PMI Turkey chapter, and we are going to offer schema programs for you in Turkey. And these programs are composed of two types of programs. It is a project management postgraduate diploma, which we will get the instructors from advisors and from Schema France. They will come probably to Istanbul maybe, or Ankara, we are yet going to decide. And you get at the end to get a project management diploma from Schema Business School. So here we're talking about this very guy who was kicked out from Dream Jobs Inc. He studied the PMD 2.0 and everybody told him, come back. This is actually a real story. And this guy is Lebanese, but his name is not Farid and he does not look like this. And they did not throw him from the top, okay? They threw him from the entrance, but they got him back after he got that degree. Now this is step one, and step two is even better, because if you have this diploma, this is considered part of the executive MBA in project and program management at Schema. And the program at Schema is composed of several courses that are taught in USA, Luxembourg, France, China, also in Brazil. So you get to take one course in a country. After you finish the PMD, they consider the credits. On top of it, you become part of the executive MBA. Okay. Of course, one thing which is not realistic, I believe you will be inside the plane, not on top of the plane, because it's dangerous. And after that, you will have also the executive MBA. So far from Lebanon, we have around 20 people who did their executive MBA. 3 or 4 of them right now, one already started his doctorate, and 3 or 4 will start their doctorate. And I'm very proud about this. We were able to help people. First of all, they had nothing. They did their PMD, project diploma. They did their PMP, they did their executive MBA, and now in 3 or 4 years, we're going to see them doctors. So they will be authorities, and they can start to write and teach and do consulting in this domain. So we're looking about the whole career from A to Z, but we don't start in school. We leave this for PMI Education Foundation. Okay? We start from graduate. So that's it. If you have any questions or answers about the 7 pains or about Jack Welch, you can ask Jack Welch, he knows better. Or about schema, I'd love to answer.
I have one on program management. You mentioned program management as being useful. I'm training now on program management in the agency, in the Kilma agency. I hope that 2 or 3 people certify in the agency, but they're not very motivated because it doesn't have a good name here. It's unknown. As you said, I didn't even know there were 3 or 4 in Turkey. I think the issue is maybe as you are a program manager and a collector of degrees, I don't know if you took program management a lot after PMP, and what was the value added for you? And maybe could you sell it a little bit here? Because I think program management for a certain level of people, those in the public sector, those in defense, those in big business, those who actually are going to move into benefits, whatever, impact analysis, etc., evaluation of programs and projects is extremely useful. At least it's been for me. And I would like to preach it here. I only will stay 1 year, and you have to continue the preaching after that.
Okay. Then one thing. My advice, yes, I do have, I have like 12 degrees in project management. I listed 6 or 7 on my card and decided to drop the rest. I don't advise anybody to be a collector. The way I approach these is over 10 years. Each time I had a project, we were required to develop the risk management process for a huge engineering company that has over 40,000 employees, and they traded billions of dollars all over the world. And we knew risk management, but I said, before I do that, or while I do that, let me get the certification. Let me learn what PMI talks about it, so that whatever we do and implement complies with this international standard. So I got my risk then, when we implemented that. And so on, when I worked in a large program management for a government in the Middle East for security applications, okay, I decided to go for program management. So my advice to you, go for the certification at the state in your professional life when you are required to implement components, or when this specific certification reflects what you should do. Okay? So it's not about collecting everything, because yes, the first thing, when you find a collector, he says, he studies, goes to the exam, then put them on his card. Does he know what he's talking about? So this is dangerous, okay? But if you spend enough time, 10, 20 years, and then you deserve to earn all of them, then why not? Okay? So this is the first point. The second point, yes, program management so far, not all people in the world agree what the definition of a program is. Okay? They agree so far what the project is. Because we have the ISO standard, we have the ANSI standard, we have Prince2, we have IPMA, we have PMI, and we have the Japanese PMA association, GIPMA or something. Okay? They all agree, in general, on common grounds about the project. They did not agree yet on what a program is. Okay? For example, I'm working with a PhD student right now, and she's trying to define success factors for programs. How do you define success for benefit? This is very hard. Requires lots of thought, lots of research. It's not something yet concrete. Nevertheless, the discipline of managing multiple projects while building an operation. After you leave, there will be an operation that sustains the business. This is a program. If you are, for example, we were hired not to build, not to teach 5,000 persons on security applications, to build 6 sites, to develop an infrastructure, data centers, and to put all over 100 courses, teach them, and put them on a portal like e-learning system. But the success criteria was not all these. The success criteria was to have locals capable of running this whole training or teaching or education system after we go. They have to run it on their own. So the whole thing is not building the best building or writing the best application. It's doing all this for the purpose of educating and building a sustainable operations from day one. So over 5 years from day one, this was our objective, and we had to add projects and remove projects and add vendors. It's not like having a project where everything is static, okay? But because you have to know what's the vision, what's the North Star in a program. And I believe in many cases for government, for large infrastructure programs in the military, when you have research, then you have manufacturing, and you don't know all the answers at the beginning, programs are important. Maybe we need to do more education about program management, then we can get there. Because so far, many people just mix project and program. Once I worked with an NGO, I suffered with them. I discovered after a long period of time, they say, we have projects and under them there are programs. Their definition, they define a program as a project and project as a program. So I once defined, I changed my mindset to speak to them in their own language, then we were able to communicate. Then I decided to change their mind, but I left that organization. Yeah, so any other questions? Also about Jack Welch, I can't answer on his behalf. He will kill me.
Well, he has an MBA too, competing with Schema, so don't shouldn't mention it too much.
He did his MBA at Schema?
Yeah, no, Jack Welch with his wife.
Yeah. At Schema?
Yeah. No,
okay.
not Schema, in the US.
Yeah, good. Okay, good news. Actually, Schema, they are AEC SB accredited from USA. They are accredited from ECOWAS Europe. And they finished the requirement for AMBA, which is UK. But next month they should receive it. Once they receive it, they become part of what's called the Triple Crown accreditation. Only 75% universities, less than 1% of the world, have all this accreditation.
You should say that Schema is the merger between two business schools, and it's gone up in the rankings now. It's right there up there in France and Belgium in the rankings, because it used to be
ESCB and CIRAM, they were two
before, but now it's right after HSC and ESCB.
Yeah, they are part of top 100, yes.
So, Saadi, when is the next time you'll be in Ankara so we can listen to you again?
I'll stay here every day. Tomorrow morning I'll be offering a presentation called Reinventing the PMO. Okay? Again, it's about shuffling the concepts that we have about the PMO, getting rid of the garbage and focusing on what really matters for the business. It's about asking the right questions. Okay? In many cases, we do not ask the right questions. Why do you want a PMO? What type of PMO? Who? How? What? The simple 5 or 6 questions. We do many things, PMO or others, we don't ask them in many cases. Just go back to the basics, it's easy. Then things become clearer. Now it's not easy to sell it to top management. This is the hardest thing. Mark Langley has been talking, the most important, largest, biggest challenge PMI are facing everywhere is to convince top management about the importance of project management as a discipline. This is the major thing. We find lots of people, professional people, middle managers, up to a little bit top management, they are convinced about what you talk about PMI, or IPMA maybe, or Prince 2, okay? They are all knowledge houses, they speak the same thing, different styles, yes, but the concepts are almost the same. But when you go to top management, how many times the CEO attended a PMP or a program management class, or attended a session like this? Very, very few times. Why? They know everything. They don't make mistakes. You know the joke the guy told in Turkey about the parrot? You heard it? I'll tell you, it was in Istanbul, in this session. He said, this guy was selling parrots, and I love it, I tell it all the time. I learned it from you. So he's selling parrots, and one guy came to buy a parrot. And he says, how much is this parrot is expensive? Why? Because the parrot speaks English. Okay. Now there is another parrot, but it's more expensive. Why? It speaks English, also speaks Turkish. But now then there is another even more expensive parrot. Why? It speaks English, it speaks French, speaks Turkish, and it's cuddleable. It's nice, plays with you, everything. And now then there is the most expensive parrot at all. 5 times more expensive than all of them. He said, okay, what does it speak? He says, nothing. Is it playful? No, no, no. Very ugly, very dull, does nothing. Then why is that expensive? He said, I don't know, but all the other parrots call it CEO. Okay? So this is a Turkish joke. I don't know about this. Okay, any other questions?
Just
Yeah.
tomorrow's because I can't come. I would like to, but I have to work, unfortunately. We did a survey of 100 ecosystem actors, 100 in our project, the EU project. We just interviewed 100 ecosystem actors, which means technoparks, technocents, some of the support structures, agencies, ministries, ecosystem, entrepreneurial ecosystem, right? And we asked if they had a project management methodology and if they had either a PMO or if they thought about doing a PMO. Okay? 5 people said yes, we would try to do a PMO. So that is the state of PMO here. I'm not talking, we didn't interview IBM or Microsoft or we didn't interview the defense companies. I'm talking about a specific type of sector here, which is ministries, technoparks. You know that technoparks are really important here as part of the university, technocents, right? TTOs, and they all had heard about project management. They all had heard about PMO. None of them had either a PMO nor the intention to create one because they didn't see yet the value. So very emerging in Ankara.
This is very interesting, our friend. If his specific research tells 5% of your organization have PMO, this means, my friends, you are not going to be rich soon. Okay? Because you are the experts in project management, and it only takes us to convince them. This is very hard, it might take 10 years. But once they are convinced, our expertise will be needed, and a lot. Okay? Now, what can we do to convince them this is our story? Mark Langley is looking still for the answer. Any other question? Thank you very much. It's really my pleasure. I'm looking forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you very much. Değerli